Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit south node, sextile, or trine one's natal sun. Now, this transit can manifest in what you're going away from, the past, what you're naturally proficient in, what may be affecting you to your detriment. Well, this may be in harmony with the vitality, the physical body, and life, and I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. Now, this is not about what's affecting you adversely or to your detriment and having a positive impact on your life. What this could indicate is that you could be going away from something that's affecting you to your detriment and being able to actually focus on your life and what your basic wants are at this time. And it could be something that you may not have some natural ability for, affinity for. This is the time where you have more of that vitality and that energy in order to do it. At this point in time, it could be as well when this transit does um, take place. It could also be very positive. It could be, if you're trying to get away, say if there's some situation going on that's to your detriment. It could be with the biological father or children, or these people may actually be beneficial to you, trying to get away from something that might be affecting you to your detriment. If you have say you have this, say for example, say that again, say for example, if the transit south node is in Capricorn in your 11th house, it could be overly negative or pessimistic friends, friends that are, they might just be overly melancholy or gloomy, and maybe they're having some kind of negative effect on you. Let's say transit south node is in Scorpio in the 11th house. It could be friends that might be very, it could be manipulative, um, and it could be where people, the biological father and children, may be beneficial in you trying in getting away from those things that are having a negative impact on you. Now, when the south node is in transit, okay, it doesn't supplant or replace your natal south node position. The natal south node position is constant, and when you have this transit, you might, as far as what you're feeling, what could be, what you have some natural ability and that energy may be used during this transit when you have it. But what you have with the natal south node placement, again, that is something that is more of a constant, and that is with you during the duration of your life, even though you're supposed to emphasize and accentuate the north node in the that second half of life, say around age 30, 35 and later. So anyway, well, the next thing, as far as this transit goes, well, this is a time when this transit does take place. It's also a time, have a good blending of taking action in what you're trying to get away from, or people that are prominent in your past, may play more of a vital role in action that needs to be taken. If you have your natal sun in Scorpio, there may be some action that needs to be taken associated with a will or inheritance or insurance or tax related matter. Maybe there's some kind of major transformation that needs to be done. And if you have any issues health wise that are anatomically connected with the sun, if there's something connected with the heart, the spine, or the upper back, this is the time where it's easier to get away from those issues, at least where those problems won't be impacting you in whatever you're doing at this time in your life, or it could actually be a positive time for finding a resolution to it as well. Keep in mind when you have the transit south node making a sextile or trine to the natal sun, well, naturally, the transit north node is going to be making a sextile or trine to your natal sun. The transit south node, let's say it's making a sextile aspect to your natal sun, which of course is a 60-degree aspect. You have The transit of the North Node being in the opposite, position is going to be making, the trine to it. It's going to be making the 120-degree aspect um, to your natal sun. Keep in mind the transit, the South Node and North Node are 180 degrees apart. Of course, you have the South Node is in the opposite spot always as the North Node placement, and or whether it's transit or natal placement. But anyway, um, it's also a time where you might be able. It's an easier time to use something you might have some natural ability for, naturally proficient to be able to shine, at this point in time. If you have your natal sun, say in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be about shining in introverted matters, home, family related matters, doing something associated with the zodiac sign Cancer, whether it's cooking or plumbing or laundry. It could be home caregiving. Um, it might be a time as well when this transit takes place. It's also, since the sun is associated with our focus and our attention, this is the time where it can be easier, to focus on what you're trying to get away from at this time that may be having a negative impact on you, or people that are prominent in your past. People prominent in your past may actually be beneficial for you being able, to focus on, something and not, going all, necessarily go in all different directions. Now, also too, something to keep in mind, some people wonder, well, how is this transit? How does it differ from the conjunction transit? Well, the conjunction and the sextile and trine are comparable and similar, but they're not precisely or exactly the same. The conjunction is more intensifying and integrating. And we have the conjunction. Conjunctions are neutral aspects. They can have good and bad qualities in them. When you have the conjunction, what could happen is, it's very intensifying, and it can be, obsessive to a certain degree, to the point where you become, oblivious, toward everything else, and which is not always, the positive thing to have going on. And like when you have the transit south node, say, make a conjunction to your natal sun, it can be where, the people, you might be, so involved with the people, that are from your, you may want, sun is about what we want. And south node is connected with our, past people. Could be people prominent in your past. I could say they have people prominent in your past, and there could be such an intense focus on that, for example, or you can, just again, become oblivious to other things in your life that, that have certain significance. Now, this is also a time as well. It's also having, where people, again, that can be prominent in your past, can be very positive in your drive and your, your motivation. If the natal sun is in Gemini, say, it might be, you might be driven and motivated to diversify or do things, associated with manual dexterity or things with communications. It could be, assimilating information in general. Now, this is another, as far as this transit goes, another way that this transit may manifest. It could also be very positive. Well, again, could be about going away. It could be very positive if you're trying to get away, which is the south node, from negative attributes of the basic character, which is the sun. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal sun is in Aquarius, it could be certain rebellious, detached, unpredictable, non-conforming qualities. It could be idiosyncratic behavior. Now, this transit is also auspicious to do something. Could be that you're naturally proficient in, which is the south node, and have that energy and vitality, which is the sun, to do so. Now, if the transit south node is in Aries, as an example, those things, might feel some natural ability, and it could be, welding, carpentry. It could be arson investigation. Maybe it's doing something, with the military. as another example, or just simply being able to lead and be pioneering. Hold on a moment. Sorry about that, I'm back, but anyway. Now, another way this transit could be expressed, it could be that people that are prominent in your past, which is the South Node, can be in more harmony and agreement with really your true self, which is the Sun. If the Sun is in Taurus, for example, it could be, you might be a person that's very steadfast, trustworthy, persistent, reliable, persevering, and patient, as some examples. And it's also a time where it's propitious to leave behind, which is the South Node, so you can focus, which is the Sun. Well, focus on what you want, which is the Sun as well. And let's say if the natal Sun is in Pisces, you may want to help the less fortunate, as an example, or do something physical, which includes astrology, or could be something connected with poetry, dancing, photography, or chemistry, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.